is Oromo Voice Radio English program. Oromo Voice Radio is broadcasting to Oromia at 16-meter band or 17,850 kilohertz or on oromovoice.org website. OVR broadcasts Oromia Insight program every Monday for 15 minutes at 7:15 p.m. Oromia local time. Welcome to Oromia Insight program.
Welcome to Oromia Insight. My name is Ali Gelato. This is part 2 interview with Professor Hamdesa Tuso about Horn of African crisis, Ethiopia-Eritrea conflict, and its application for the Oromo people.
The Derg had a chance to reconcile. The first chairman of the Derg, who was General Aman Mikael Andam, an Eritrean origin, but he was a assimilated Ethiopian. He was a war hero. He fought in Korea. He fought against Somalia. Highly respected, very intelligent man. So he wanted to write a new constitution according to the Eritrean question. Based on this, he invited his legal expert, Professor Barakat Hamdesa, who served in the title of justice. He was in exile, he had a PhD from the London in law. He invited him to write the constitution. Then there was a conflict between Aman Andam, who was the chairman of the Derg, the military government, and the Mengistu Haile Mariam, a low-ranking, radical, ambitious guy. So Mengistu Haile Mariam ordered 60 high-ranking officials of Haile government to be executed without any trial. As a way, then he demanded that, I forgot the number, so many soldiers, military, should be sent to Eritrea. And also he demanded that Aman Andam, who is the chairman of the Derg, the military government, should approve these two proposals. One is to execute these 60 people, high officials without any trial. The second is to send new forces to Eritrea. Aman Andam will not do this, so Mengistu Haile Mariam ordered personally for him to be captured. And then Aman Andam would not give up, so he fought back and they killed him. They actually bulldozed his house, literally. So that situation created a political atmosphere of no returning back. So Eritrea fought for 30 years to become independent. And also around 1975, the EPLF, the Eritrean People's Liberation Front, came up with a new tactic, which is they didn't want the military government to come to all the way to Eritrea to fight them. So they wanted to create a buffer zone in Tigray, the next province to Eritrea. So they supported the creation of the Tigray Liberation Front, or the Tigray People's Liberation Front, TPLF. And we don't know the exact agreement. The common understanding was there was agreement that if the TPLF wins in power in Ethiopia, they will allow Eritrea to be independent. So by 1991, the military government in Ethiopia collapsed completely. Central command collapsed. The EPLF, the Eritrea People's Liberation Front, marched into Asmara without any problem. They occupied the territory, literally. And then the U.S. government, which organized the conference in London, May 1991, wanted Eritrea to be with Ethiopia, but the EPLF leadership said no. So, for example, Mr. Herman Cohen, who was the chairman of the conference, wanted the EPLF to participate in the conference July 1 to 6 in Addis Ababa. And the EPLF said, no, we are going to be observers. Then the EPLF, because it is interest in controlling Ethiopia through TPLF, because it is logic, it is reasoning, it is rationale, was to have access to the resources in the south. That's why everybody fights, to control the resources in the south. And they supported the Tigray Liberation Front to amass power through military, and through elections, through different means. So the EPLF, the Eritrean People's Liberation Front, empowered the Tigray Liberation Front to take power in Ethiopia. Then the Eritrean Liberation Front asked for a referendum, UN supervised referendum, which took place in 1993. The Madda Walaabuu, the leader of the Tigray Liberation Front, said he had no objection. That was the legal requirement. So Eritrea became independent in 1993, where the power rivalry between Madda Walaabuu of the Tigray and Isaias of Eritrea emerged because partly, according to internal resources, Isaias he thought he was superpower. He wanted Eritrea to be some kind of superpower in the Horn of Africa, and he wanted to control events. And since Ethiopia and Tigray had more resources, more prestige, more population, the West sided with Ethiopia. And big investment came to Ethiopia. All kinds of advances went to Ethiopia. And then, so Eritrea was isolated. After this frustration, essentially the rivalry between, in part, it's a complicated stuff, but it's still in part between Madda Walaabuu of Tigray and Isaias of Eritrea. The personal rivalry, hatred toward each other became a big issue. So they had a war in 1998 over a little piece of land, a desert called Badami. Badami was really not an issue. The issue was Isaias wanted to weaken the Tigrayan government, the Tigray-dominated Ethiopia, and then Madda Walaabuu wanted to destabilize and get rid of Isaias. So this became a big issue, and there was a big war between 1998 and 2000. In 1901, there was a conflict with the Oromo Front. I organized the Shanataja Suma, the five of us, and I traveled to Eritrea during that period, between 2001 and 2004, to Eritrea 4 times. During that time, I learned that this detailed animosity between two individuals, also the claims. The common expression was that the Eritreans felt that Madda Walaabuu betrayed them, and he actually expelled ethnic groups, people of Eritrean heritage, which neither the Belg or the international government did. So it was very nasty. What the issue was, the political game was, what government wanted to destabilize the system so that the Tigrayans will not stay in power. And Madda Walaabuu will really need to do the same. Here is a big issue for the Eritreans. When they were fighting against the regime of Emperor Selassie or the regime of the Belg, the jets came from Bushoftu, Hamdesa miles. But the TPLF created international airport, military base in Tigray. So it takes only 5 minutes for a military jet to fly from Tigray to Eritrea. They can destroy the whole city of Eritrea and Asmara. So this was a major fear. And also for the Tigrayans, they were unpopular, they became dominant, and as long as the government of Isaias existed, he is going to destabilize them. That's a fear, existential fear, meaning this is something they cannot lose because they're going to lose everything if they lose this. So this conflict also expressed itself in Somalia. Madda Walaabuu supported certain groups. Isaias supported another group, particularly some group with Islamic, and then the West condemned Isaias, and then eventually Madda Walaabuu invaded Somalia. It was a proxy war between Madda Walaabuu and Isaias. It had nothing to do with Ethiopia and Somalia. So this is how the 1998-2000 war started. The animosity is created. After that, Eritrea allowed some of the opposition groups, groups who aspire to topple the government in Ethiopia, to have the office in Asmara, including the Oromo Liberation Front and other groups. And during last year, there were a lot of demonstrations by Oromos against the regime in Addis Ababa. The regime blamed this on Eritrea, on Isaias Afwerki. And so you have this complicated case, and you have really imbalance of power at the same time incompatible goals. So that is why you have got this sustained conflict or repeated conflict. In both cases, the government are ruled by dictators, and so in part this is a legacy of colonization. The fact that Eritrea was separated from Ethiopia by Intermlik, he gave Eritrea to Somalia and to Italy, and the Tigrayans are very unhappy with that and resentful, because it gave away a major territory which has access to the Red Sea, and then also Tigray were left without much resources. This is also part of the Tigrayan resentment toward the Amhara successive regimes. And that's why essentially they took over the government, and then they control it. They are also afraid of the Amhara power. Now, also now that of Oromo's potential power. So you have a system whereby antagonists have incompatible goals, but also there's an imbalance of power.
There are reports that the government in the two neighboring states are very unpopular and indeed vulnerable. A war is a risky proposition for any government. It costs money, it drains on the military personnel, and of course, you do not know the outcome. Why do you think that such an unpopular regime would be involved in such risky hostile activities?
The two regimes, namely the government in Asmara and the regime in Addis Ababa, are both very unpopular. Each regime had its own unique history. Each regime had its own unique source of vulnerability. They have certain things in common. Both are undemocratic, authoritarian, one ethnic-based, and then run by dictators. In case of Eritrea, Isaias Afwerki was a brilliant liberation front leader. While they were fighting against the government in Ethiopia under Haile Selassie and under military government, they organized hospitals underground, in schools, and ran programs for the population where they controlled the territories. It was a brilliant organization. Also, they also understood that the military government of certain regions, such as Tigray, so they wanted to create a buffer zone. So they helped to create the Tigray People's Liberation Front, TPLF, 1975.